Namaste and a very warm welcome. On behalf of IBPC Dubai, I am delighted to host this edition of Inspire Fireside Chat, a space where we bring you conversations with leaders whose journeys guide and uplift our members and their families. Today's guest is a visionary leader who has steered enterprises across distant oceans, yet remains firmly anchored in the timeless values that shape true success on land. From a modest beginning with a single ship and a handful of containers, he has shaped Transworld Group into a respected global enterprise. Please join me in welcoming warmly the chairman of Transworld Group and Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award winner, Mr. Ramesh Ramakrishnan. Ramesh ji, thank you for being here with us today and for sharing your time with the IBPC community. Let's start with your early days. You were still in college when you started working in the family business. What did those early years teach you about enterprise and responsibility?
Thank you very much, Ramesh. Let me first of all wish you a very happy birthday.
Thank
I'm
you.
delighted to be with you on this podcast. Before I get on to my days in college, I believe the formative years are more important. The space where I learned everything, and which even today I call it as home, is a little town called Kollam in Kerala. And that's where I did my schooling. And after completing the school, while I was 16, I moved into Bombay. That is the time we were setting up Transworld, just about the beginning of Transworld. That was on the 31st of December 1977 was the day when the company was incorporated. My father was living here, and he wanted me to kind of be there, get on with it, because he believed that Bombay is the place that gives you all the kind of energy to get moving. The benefit that I had in Bombay was that you could go to your college in the morning at 7, finish your college by about 10 or 10:15, and back into the office at about 11. But where I learned, what really taught me was the company that I had when I was in that age in college. Quite a number of them are very leading stockbrokers to property investors and all kinds of people. They were all colleagues, they were all friends of mine. And that is the space where I learned the basics of business and how do you want to deal with situations, actually. Bombay and Kollam are two places which is completely there, for me, gave me everything.
Very well. Then came the turning point. At just 23, you had to take over the leadership reins after your father's untimely passing.
Yes.
How did you summon the clarity and the conviction to shoulder such responsibility when you were so young?
Yeah. Let me tell you, it is a very wise thing from my father's end, pushing me and requesting me to go to work right at the age of 16. And that gave me a great insight. Whilst I had friends and others who had a great time going out in the evening, etc., I was very, very dedicated to work. So when this untimely passing away happened, when he was hardly 56 and I was hardly 23 at that time, I had gained enough amount of knowledge in terms of what the work was. But then the fact of the matter is that when somebody is there leading the pack and leading the organization, when he moves away, you have a lot of detractors. You have a lot of people who are not extremely confident about your capabilities. And that's the time when you have tremendous amount of fire in the belly and you want to prove that that's not what we are, and we are capable of building something which is robust, strong, and we move forward. So it was a great experience. Some of those people who were close to me at that point of time used to challenge me and think that, oh, this is not going to work and this is going to have great difficulties. But that was really the most inspiring thing for me. To me, when I heard all of these things, I said, that's not the end of the world, and there's got to be more that we need to build, the legacy that we already have, and on top of that, how do we build an organization which is robust? Today, I can say that we have completed 45 years of business.
So, keeping on with the early years, which were very challenging, evidently, with limited capital, skeptical banks, uncertain partners, Could you share with us one moment that must have tested you most and how you navigated that moment?
In the year 1981, that was the time we bought a French a carrier that could carry alcohol to trucks to onions to all of that, a combined ship. And we brought it, and that was trading. Initial days, very tough. We were making some money, losing a lot of money, making money, losing money. But the pleasure and the challenge that we went through at that time to get to that position is incredible. It is great amount of learning, very, very tough. But having said that, we had the courage of a conviction, we had the belief, and we knew what the customer wanted, and we were always tailor-making exactly what they were needed. So progressively, we expanded with the first ship coming in 1981. My father passed away in 1989. At that time, when he passed away, we had two small ships, and we had about 100 containers with us. So that was the time, when the new thinking comes in on board. You have to be very aggressively thinking through and saying, how am I going to grow the business? How am I going to survive? What am I going to do? And am I going to sit down and start doing these small little things and keep it going? That was extremely inspirational. So I recollect one of my mentor who was with me was a gentleman by the name of Mr. Kulas. He was associated with us since 1981. So we would go and sit down in a coffee shop somewhere and sit down and going on debating day in and out. How do we build this? What do we do? The banks are not kind to you. You're an unknown commodity. You just lost the founder of the organization. Nobody's going to be coming along. That is about the time I recollect when I had the pleasure of meeting the Prime Minister was P.V. Narasimha Rao, and the Finance Minister at that time was Mr. Manmohan Singh. So he sort of invited us for a program it was a Foreign Investment Promotion Board event or something in Delhi, and we went there. And I recollect very clearly in the year 1991, Dr. Manmohan Singh came across. I was a young lad at that time, tapped my shoulder and said, we need young people like you to build business and start growing. That was extremely inspirational. That was extremely motivational. So that's how we started building. And we set up an Indian listed company in India at that time, not knowing what could perhaps be the potential in India. Today, as we speak, as a group, we own 30 ships, containers, dry bulk, and tankers. We do a lot of warehousing, distribution, forwarding, and all of that. But I must say that all this has been progressively built. We tried many things, failed over and over again, but we had the courage to stand up and again believing in our thoughts and saying we want to go forward and create this beautiful organization called Transworld. That's the kind of history that we've gone through and the legacy that we've built over the last 50 years.
Great. I've been actually fortunate to witness a portion of your journey, having been in shipping myself. Initially in India as part of the Cobra consortium.
Yes.
And later in Dubai in the shipping and logistics space.
So you surely understand what I was trying to
Indeed, every bit of it. From your approach, what is the one thing, for our audience's sake, would you say differentiates your approach from that of others in the line?
I think if I was to say, we truly believe that we have to grow step by step. The foundation is extremely important. And if you are not going to be building a robust foundation, even the smallest of the jerk can push you down. So I think we always believe right from the beginning, right from the start, that everything has to be strong. It has to be on a very strong bedrock. And I think that's only possible if you're also able to create a team of leaders with you. Give them the independence. Take them along with you. Give them the freedom to think. Give them the ability to deliver. And don't start pushing them to say that, oh, just because one thing went wrong, you show him the door and ask him to go. It never happens. You got to give people their chance to survive, come back over and over again. I think nurturing of people, understanding the customer's needs are the two cornerstones on which we've been building our business and organization.
Sage advice to our young IBPC entrepreneurs, I must say. Going back to the days that you were transitioning from being just a shipping agent to a ship owner, at what point did you realize that we should go into ship owning, into owning containers, go into warehousing and into logistics. There must have been one turning point.
Yeah. When we first got our first ship, which was actually, that was the second one, which was a 234 TEU container ship. And every time we would end up loading 100, 120 or 130, and you know that that's not enough for you to keep your business sustained. Then we came across at that time, again, forward in those days, in an era where we did not have the digital kind of a scenario, we said that we got to think something that is different. That's about the time we said that we got to add containers, because after what the United Arab Shipping or the others load, say 120 or 150, we still have another 100 TEUs to go. So we got to use them effectively for us to be able to produce better results. So that triggered us to think we got to start buying some containers. So we bought about 100 to 150 containers to ensure the ship is always sailing full from there. From there, we realized that once you have the containers, you need more ships. When you have more ships, you need more containers. So it went on. It was a progressive
Virtual
growth,
spiral.
spiraling backwards and forwards growth. But never we took the eye off customer needs. That was the most important thing.
In Bombay, you must have had the phenomenon of that being an export-led market. So you probably had full containers going out. What did you do with the empties?
It's a very interesting question, Ramesh. In those days, Middle East was always an import-bound destination, and there's very little that you could use to take those containers out. That actually was the one that triggered the idea and gave us the belief that if we start talking to different shipping lines and offer them that you don't worry about it, we will take your empties, instead of you taking all the empties back into Europe, we'll put it on our ship, take it into Bombay, find export cargo for you, and we will release our document to our clients, and you take it away from our ships in Dubai, take it to wherever you want in Europe, and deliver against the original document that we gave. This is what gave us a lot of good connects. And we also did this, you understand the shipping industry. We believed that transparency, there has to be an absolute Chinese wall. There cannot be any conflict of interest.
Yeah.
You got to do what the principals want you to do. And therefore, we set up at that time, rather than having all of that into one organization, we created multiple agency houses and started housing them with a very clear understanding that even the managers will not share even single data or information what is there available from one to the other. And that's how that confidence was built. So every principal, we could walk into them with our head held very high, because we were delivering exactly what we had promised them to.
Wonderful. So two messages I'm taking away from this. One is that what was their problem was actually your opportunity.
Absolutely.
In terms of the returning empty containers.
Absolutely.
And the second is that you were not only maintaining confidentiality, but you were seen to be maintaining confidentiality by these principals.
Absolutely.
And that in turn gave you a complete beachhead of contacts with all the biggies in the business.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
True.
Super learning. Now let's fast forward some decades.
Yes.
One of the defining moments in your journey was the partnership with DP World.
Yeah.
For many family businesses in the region, this is a very compelling story.
Yes.
What gave you the conviction to move from full control of your enterprise to sharing or to having to share control with a partner, and that too a partner of such scale and influence?
Great question. I cannot say I did not go through these challenges. Let me explain to you. When you build an organization brick by brick, you are so closely connected to it, and you do not wish to have an outsider to sit down and start influencing or to make you go through a decision-making process. And much later, I think in the year 2016 or 2015, I had the privilege of going and attending a beautiful course in Harvard Business School, the OPM course. that gave me a great amount of insight and gave me the confidence in the belief that collaboration and partnerships are extremely important. I learned about it. I think till then I would have said that, sorry, this is not going to happen because what we have created as a legacy, it should go on, get passed on, etc., etc. So as I came back, we did agree finally that we have to enter into a strategic relationship with DP World. More importantly, to me, the recognition that comes from a large operator or an owner like a DP World who evinced interest to partner with us comes out of our being here for the last 40 years or 45 years. And I always say that we have grown under their wings over the last many, many years. I think that relationship that we built over the last 45 years was about the time when they came up and said, Ramesh, you have a product that we don't have, and we think we need to work with you. You have the expertise, you have the knowledge, and we have trust in you, we have faith in you, we know that you guys have built this particular part of the business here in this market. So can we enter into a kind of a partnership? That we agreed, and we said that, yes, we will carve out some part of our operating business, set up a joint venture, which is now called as the Unifeeder. And the Unifeeder network is today one of the largest feedering network around the world, actually. So we are very delighted and very happy to take this partnership. Of course, there are many other things that we are doing with them. They want us to do. But again, it comes back to the core point that I said, integrity, trust that you can build, and dependence of what you say and what you deliver. It wasn't an easy decision, but thanks to Harvard Business School, made me think through, change my mind, and then we started acting on that.
Great. We can expect a number of our IBPC members to now sign up for Harvard Business School course, I can see. Sir, your journey from those modest beginnings to leading a global enterprise is really inspiring. For our IBPC members and their families, it's a reminder that vision and perseverance can carry us far, no matter where we start.
Absolutely.
But this is only half the story. In our next episode, we will explore the values that guide Mr. Ramakrishnan, why passion, persistence, and perseverance remain his mantras, how he has built Transworld into a great place to work, and how he balances work, family, health, friends, knowledge, and spirituality like spokes of a wheel. Join us in part 2 of IBPC Inspire.